What if the most frustrating part of your day, those dead hours where you're neither working nor free, were actually the only thing standing between you and financial freedom? You know those hours, the ones where you're stuck between shifts, too far from home to go back, too broke to do anything meaningful. So you sit in your car, scroll through your phone, watch other people live the life you're supposed to be building. But what if those hours weren't dead time at all? What if they were the most valuable real estate on your calendar, and you just couldn't see it yet? Marcus Chen was 30 years old and trapped in a very specific kind of purgatory. 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., lunch shift at Blackstone Grill, a mid-tier steakhouse in downtown Portland. Frantic, hot, his hands permanently red from carrying scalding plates. Then, nothing. 4 hours and 15 minutes, every single day. Not enough time to get a second job. Yes, too far from his apartment to go home. That would be 40 minutes each way, burning gas he couldn't afford. So he did what everyone in his position does. He waited. Sometimes in his car, windows cracked, seat reclined, pretending to nap while his lower back screamed. Sometimes at the public library 3 blocks away, where the Wi-Fi was free and the bathroom was clean, scrolling, watching YouTube videos about people who escape the 9 to 5, reading articles about passive income, then bookmarking courses he'd never buy. Then, 6:45 p.m., back to Blackstone, dinner shift until 11 p.m., home by 11:40, microwave leftovers, asleep by 1 a.m., repeat, $2,100 a month, $2,400 if it was a good month. Barely enough to cover rent, his mother's medical bills, groceries, and the credit card minimum payments that never seemed to shrink. Marcus wasn't miserable. That was the problem. He was comfortable enough not to explode, uncomfortable enough never to rest. A ghost, waiting for his own life to start. But there was something else gnawing at him. Something he tried not to think about during the chaos of lunch rushes or the zombie-like haze of dinner service. His mother. Patricia Chen had been a piano teacher for 30 years. Strong hands, sharp mind. The kind of woman who could sight-read Chopin while correcting your posture with a single glance. Then Parkinson's arrived, quietly at first. A tremor in her left hand she tried to hide. Then more aggressive. The disease that steals precision from people who live by it. She had moved into a care facility 2 years ago, $1,800 a month. Insurance covered some of it. Marcus covered the rest. He visited every Sunday, brought her crossword puzzles she could barely hold, sat with her while she tried to drink tea without spilling it. She always asked the same question. "Are you happy, sweetheart?" And Marcus always lied. "Yeah, Mom, I'm good." Because what was he supposed to say? That he was 30 years old. All carrying plates for a living, drowning in the gap between who he used to be and who he'd become. That 5 years ago, he'd been a film student with actual talent, that his professors had told him he had an eye, that he'd spent nights in the editing bay, hands flying across the keyboard, creating something that mattered, that he'd given it all up when his father died suddenly, when the medical bills piled up, when his mother's diagnosis came and someone had to be responsible. And he couldn't tell her that, so he lied. And the lie ate at him more than the exhaustion. It was a Tuesday in March when everything cracked. One of the regulars, an older guy named Tom, always ordered the ribeye medium rare, always tipped exactly 22%, was at his usual table, but this time he wasn't alone. "Marcus, this is my daughter. She's visiting from Seattle. She's a video editor, works with some big YouTube channels." The daughter smiled politely, barely looking up from her laptop. Yet Marcus saw the timeline scrubbing across her screen. Premiere Pro, layers of color correction, motion graphics, and something twisted inside his chest. Because 5 years ago, that was him. That was his screen, his timeline, his life. He mumbled something polite and walked away, but his hands were shaking when he set down the water pitcher. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He opened his laptop, a 2017 MacBook Pro he'd bought with student loans, now mostly used for Netflix, as he opened a folder he hadn't touched in 3 years. Projects. 12 unfinished videos stared back at him. He opened one, a short documentary about Portland's homeless community. The footage was raw but good. The interviews were intimate. The story was there. He just stopped. Halfway through watching his own work, Marcus felt something break inside his chest. He whispered to himself in the dark, "If I don't do something now, if I don't start again, I'm going to be carrying plates when I'm 40, when I'm 50. This is it. This is my life unless I—" He didn't finish the sentence, but the truth had been spoken, and once you say it out loud, you can't unhear it. The next day, Marcus did something he'd never done before. During his dead hours, instead of sitting in his car, he walked back to Blackstone. He found Tom at the bar doing paperwork. Marcus's heart was pounding. This felt insane, but he had to know. "Can I ask you something? Your daughter, the editor, how did she start? Like, actually start?" Tom looked at him for a long moment, not surprised, not confused, like he'd been waiting for this question. Then he pulled out a pen and a cocktail napkin. "You've got those gaps, right? Between shifts?" "Yeah, 4 hours every day." "That's your window. But here's the thing, Marcus. You can't treat it like a waiting room. You have to treat it like a boardroom." Tom drew a simple chart on the napkin. 10:30 to 2:30, lunch shift, 2:45 to 4:45, deep work block, 2 hours hard rule, 5 to 6:30, decompress/prep for dinner, 6:45 to 11, dinner shift, 2 hours, not 2 hours and 10 minutes, not whenever you feel like it, 2 hours, same time, every day, non-negotiable. Marcus stared at the napkin. "What do I do in those 2 hours?" "You pick one skill, video editing since you studied it, and you do this, one tutorial, one practice project, every single day for 90 days. And then you'll have a portfolio. Right now, you have excuses." The words hit harder than they should have. Tom slid the napkin across the bar. "Here's the deal. 90 days, one project per week, 12 total. If you miss a single day, the whole thing resets. No exceptions." "No, I was tired. No, my shift ran late." That's brutal. So is being 40 and still waiting for your life to start. Marcus folded the napkin and put it in his pocket. He didn't believe it would work, but he was desperate enough to try. Day 1. Marcus sat in the library with his laptop, opened YouTube. Premiere Pro tutorial, color grading basics. The tutorial was 52 minutes long. Halfway through, his eyes were burning. The instructor's voice was monotone. His brain felt sluggish, like trying to run through water. The voice came immediately, the one that always comes. "You're tired. You've been on your feet all morning. You deserve a break, just today. Start fresh tomorrow." Marcus's hand moved toward the trackpad to close the laptop. Then he remembered Tom's words. "No exceptions," he whispered, "not today." He finished the tutorial, opened a practice project, took stock footage from Pexels, applied what he'd learned. Then the result was terrible, clunky, amateurish, but it was done. Day 2, easier, barely. Day 3, his phone buzzed 17 times during his work block. He ignored it. Day 5, a coworker asked why he wasn't hanging out during the break anymore. Marcus said he was busy, felt like a weirdo, worked anyway. Day 7, his back hurt. His mother had called twice during his work block. He'd ignored her, called her back at 5:15 p.m. Felt guilty, but he'd protected the 2 hours. It's day 10. He finished his second project, a 60-second promo for a fake coffee brand, posted it on Instagram, got 34 likes, felt stupid, but also something else, a flicker of pride. Day 14. A coworker invited him to grab beers during the gap. Marcus said no. The guy looked offended. Marcus felt lonely. He worked anyway. Day 18. He was starting to see patterns. His editing was getting faster. His color grading more intuitive. Muscle memory was returning. Day 22. This was the day everything almost ended. Marcus was exhausted, truly bone-deep exhausted. A dinner rush had gone late the night before. A party of 14 with separate checks and complicated substitutions. He'd gotten home at 1:30 a.m. His alarm went off at 9:45 a.m. for the lunch shift. The lunch shift was brutal. 3 servers called out sick. Marcus covered twice his normal section. By 2:30 p.m., his feet were screaming. His lower back felt like someone had driven a nail into his spine. When his shift ended and he clocked out, every molecule in his body screamed to go to his car and sleep. The library was 3 blocks away. Those 3 blocks felt like 3 miles. Marcus stood on the sidewalk, his laptop bag on his shoulder, his legs shaking. And the voice was louder than it had ever been. You're just a server, a tired, broke server playing pretend. You're not a video editor. Oh, you're not an entrepreneur. You're a guy who carries plates and pretends he's going to be something else. Go to sleep. This isn't for people like you. Marcus looked at his phone. 2:47 p.m. If he walked to his car right now, he could sleep for 3 hours. His body needed it. But if he walked away, the whole 90 days reset. Back to zero. He thought about Tom's words. No exceptions. He thought about his mother, sitting in that care facility, asking if he was happy. He thought about himself at 40, still carrying plates, still exhausted, still waiting for life to start. And he walked into the library. He didn't sit down gracefully. He collapsed into the chair like a fighter who'd taken too many hits but refused to go down. Opened his laptop, hands shaking from exhaustion. The tutorial was on motion graphics. He could barely focus. Had to rewind sections 3 times. But he worked for 2 hours, and something changed. Not an epiphany. Not inspiration, just a shift. A realization that settled into his bones. I'm not a genius. I don't need to be. I just need to stay in the chair. That was it. That was the whole game. Not talent, not luck, not connections. Just the ability to show up when every part of you wants to run. After day 22, something was different. The work didn't get easier, but Marcus got harder. Day 25, he finished a mini documentary about the library itself, interviewed the librarians. It cut it together with B-roll of people reading, studying, existing in that quiet space. Posted it on YouTube, got 140 views. A librarian cried when she watched it. Day 30. He'd completed 4 projects. None were great, but they existed, and a month ago, they didn't. Day 38. His manager at Blackstone asked him to make a quick promo video for the restaurant's Instagram. We can't pay you, but Marcus said yes. He shot it on his iPhone during a slow Tuesday lunch. He edited it that afternoon in his 2-hour block. 30 seconds, sizzling steaks, warm lighting, a simple text overlay. Where Portland eats. His manager posted it. 1,200 views in 2 days. Then a DM. Hey, I own 3 fitness studios in Portland. Saw your video for Blackstone. Can you do something for us? Budget is $400. Marcus stared at the message. $400. He'd made $320 that entire week at the restaurant. He was about to make more in one project than he made in 30 hours of serving. As his hands were shaking when he typed, "Yes, let's talk." Day 45. He delivered the fitness studio video. The client loved it, paid immediately, referred him to 2 other businesses. Marcus had $400 in his bank account that he had earned from editing, not from tips, not from hourly wages, from his skill. Day 52, second client, a real estate agent who needed property tour videos, $350. Day 60, a local band needed a music video, $500. By day 75, yes, Marcus had made $1,800 from video editing. He was still working both shifts at Blackstone, still honoring the 2-hour rule, but something fundamental had shifted. The way he walked, the way he introduced himself, the way he saw his own reflection. He wasn't a server who edited videos as a hobby. He was a video editor who worked a bridge job. The identity shift changed everything. Day 82. Marcus was wiping down tables after the lunch rush when his manager, Dave, pulled him aside. Corporate wants to promote you to shift lead. $3,400 a month. Benefits. Consistent schedule. You'd be salaried. 8 weeks earlier, Marcus would have cried with relief. $3,400 was stability, healthcare, respect, a life that made sense to his family, his friends, society. But Dave kept talking. Schedule would be Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You'd oversee both shifts, do inventory, handle staffing. And Marcus's stomach dropped. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. No split, no gaps. A no 2-hour window. The promotion would kill the only thing that was working. Can I think about it? Dave looked surprised. Sure, but I need an answer by Friday. That night, Marcus called Tom. They offered me shift lead, more money, but it kills my editing time. What do you want, Marcus? I don't know. The money's good. It's stable. It's what I'm supposed to want. Let me ask differently. Do you want a better version of your current life? Or a completely different one? Marcus sat with that question. A better version. More money, same work, same exhaustion, same life, just slightly more comfortable. A different one. Unknown, risky, but his. A different one. Then you already know the answer. Friday morning, Marcus walked into Dave's office. I appreciate the offer, but I have to say no. Dave looked genuinely confused. You're turning down $3,400 a month? But for what? I'm turning down $3,400 to build $6,000. Dave laughed. Not meanly, just disbelief. Marcus, you're a server. Not for long. Day 90, Marcus completed his 12th project. A brand video for a local coffee roaster. $650. He'd kept the streak. 90 days. Not one miss. Total earnings from editing in 90 days. $3,200. Not enough to quit, but enough to see the path. He gave Blackstone his 2 weeks' notice. 1 year later, Marcus Chen no longer works at Blackstone Grill. And now he edits videos in a small studio apartment in southeast Portland with good light, a standing desk, and a MacBook Pro M2 he bought without debt. He has 7 ongoing clients, 3 retainer agreements. Last month, he invoiced $6,400. He works 30 hours a week, on his own schedule. His mother's medical bills are paid on time. He has $4,200 in savings. He visits her every Sunday, and when she asks if he's happy, he doesn't have to lie anymore. And he still honors the 2-hour rule. And it's 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every single day. Deep work, no exceptions. Even though he doesn't need to anymore, he keeps it. Because the rule isn't about the time, it's about the discipline. Last week, Tom stopped by for coffee. You did it. I almost didn't. Day 22, I almost quit. But you didn't. No, I just stayed in the chair. Tom smiled. You know what you learned, Marcus? Time isn't a line, it's geometry. You don't need a long line to build something. You need a solid block. 2 hours every day is 730 hours a year. That's a master's degree. That's a business. That's a completely different life. I thought I didn't have time. You didn't have a line, but you had blocks. You just had to see them. Marcus looked out the window at the city. People rushing, waiting, scrolling, complaining about not having time. He used to be one of them. Now he knew the truth. Everyone has time. Most people just don't have structure. Marcus's story is a reminder that transformation doesn't require a clear calendar. It requires clear boundaries. Most people look at gaps in their day, split shifts, commutes, waiting rooms, the hours between obligations, and see waste. Marcus learned to see capital. 2 hours, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., or 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., or 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. The time doesn't matter. The block does. Here's what the split shift strategy actually is. Rule 1, identify your block. And find the 2-hour window that repeats, not whenever you have time. A specific recurring block, same time, every day. Rule 2, guard it like a job. You wouldn't skip a shift. Don't skip this. No exceptions. No, just this once. No, I'm too tired today. The block is sacred. Rule 3, 1, skill, 90 days, 12 projects. Not vague learning. Concrete output. 1 tutorial, 1 project. Every single day. At the end, you have a portfolio. Rule 4, no consumption during the block, no scrolling. No research rabbit holes. No, I'm just getting inspired. Production only, creation only. Rule 5, the identity shift comes last. You don't wait to feel like a video editor. You edit until you are one. Identity follows action, not the other way around. The brutal truth, most people reading this have the time. They just don't have the structure. You're treating your gaps like waiting rooms. Start treating them like boardrooms. You're scrolling through other people's highlight reels in the hours you could be building your own. You're getting ready to get ready instead of just sitting down and starting, and I get it. Because starting means facing the possibility that you'll fail, that you'll be bad at it, that you'll waste time on something that doesn't work. But here's the thing. You're already wasting the time. You're just wasting it comfortably. Marcus wasted 4 hours a day for years before he turned it into capital. How much time have you already burned? How many hours scrolling? How many Netflix binges during the time you said you were too tired to work on your dreams? The time is already gone. The question is, what are you going to do with the time that's coming? So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, track your time. Not vaguely, precisely. Write down every hour, every gap. It's every moment you said you didn't have time. Find your 2-hour block. It's there. Between obligations, between shifts, between the life you're living and the one you keep saying you'll build someday. Write it down. Same time, every day. Then pick one skill you've been postponing. Video editing, writing, coding, design, doesn't matter. Pick one. And for 90 days, honor the block. No exceptions, no excuses, no, I'll start Monday, start today, start now. Because the only difference between someone stuck in a split shift and someone making $6,000 a month isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not connections. It's what they did with the 2 hours everyone else scrolled away. 730 hours a year. That's the difference between waiting and building, between dreaming and doing, between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. The gaps in your schedule aren't your problem. They're your only solution. And if this story made you realize that discipline isn't about having more time, but about using the time you already have, then the next step is simple. Because structure doesn't appear overnight. It has to be built. If you want a clear system to turn short daily blocks into real momentum, take a look at the KMA method. It's a practical framework designed to sharpen your focus, strengthen your will, and help you build unbreakable consistency in just 5 minutes a day. The link is in the first pinned comment below. Your future won't be built in the hours you have, but in the ones you stop wasting.